This is the first week where life starts moving again. And it's not all at once, nor is it dramatic, but it is enough that you can feel it. And if you don't notice how you re enter movement this week, February is going to feel louder than it needs to. Now, I want to be very clear with you right away. Nothing is collapsing and nothing is being taken from you. But something is starting. And the version of you that learned how to survive last year may not be the version that is needed next. Because here's the question quietly forming right now, and it will not stay quiet for long. Is the identity I'm living actually real? Or was it built to survive something that's already over? This week doesn't demand answers. It's setting posture. How you stand now, how you move when things begin responding again, determines whether the coming weeks feel clarifying or overwhelming. So stay with me, because this isn't about fixing anything. It's about making sure the right version of you is the one stepping forward. Hello, beautiful ones. I'm Cindi, astrologer, mystic, and I guide people through periods of deep change by helping them understand what the sky is doing inside them. So welcome to Forecasts That Shift Timelines. Each week, we track how the story is unfolding, not just astrologically, but personally. And this week is a very particular feeling. It's not urgent, it's not crisis, it's not pressure. It feels like life responding again. So, emails move, conversations are resurfacing, opportunities don't knock loudly, but they are appearing. And what I keep noticing, both personally and with my clients, is that the body doesn't immediately trust this. Even when things start to move, the nervous system stays cautious. And it's not because something is wrong, it's because it hasn't updated yet. Remember, last year required endurance, containment, holding patterns, right? So if you notice yourself hesitating, pausing, waiting for the other shoe to fall, that isn't fear. That's intelligence. Your system learned how to survive uncertainty. It just hasn't learned yet that the environment has changed. Okay? And here's where the week matters. When survival ends, the body doesn't celebrate. It waits. So you might notice things like holding back joy, or delaying decisions, or shrinking plans, or scanning for what might go wrong. And this isn't because you don't trust life. It's because your identity adapted to instability. And identities don't shift automatically. So what protected you last year can quietly distort what arrives next. If it stays in charge too long, it will do this. Okay? This is why January isn't asking you to leap forward. What it's asking is for you to notice, who am I standing as now before things accelerate? Now, astrologically, and just as importantly, energetically, early 2026 doesn't move slowly. I mentioned this in the other video. Responses are coming faster. Situations clarify more quickly. Truth has less buffer. That doesn't mean it's chaos. It means feedback. You're beginning to see movement again. And here's the key. Whatever isn't stabilized now gets amplified later. Not punished, not taken away, amplified. So, if you move forward still braced, like you're bracing for something, the movement is going to feel overwhelming. But if you move forward grounded, then that movement feels clarifying. This week doesn't ask you to decide where you're going. It's asking whether your system is steady enough to stay present when life answers back. So here's what I want you to pay attention to this week. Not astrologically, but in your actual life. Okay? You may notice things like conversations restarting that you thought were finished, or maybe even invitations or opportunity, they're appearing sooner than you expected. Okay? Or a decision showing up before you feel fully ready, or even momentum building when you assumed you still had time. And what I really want you to notice is this: life is not rushing you. This is because, guess what? The holding pattern is over. Isn't that wonderful? For so long, things were paused for a reason, and now they're responding again. That's what we're feeling. That's what's going to be showing up. And this is where identity comes in. For some of you, this shows up as being asked to show up without the armor you needed last year. You might notice you don't want to explain yourself the way you used to, or that you don't have the energy to over justify a yes or a no. Or you may even notice you feel resistant to stepping back into roles that once felt safe. And I want you to notice something important here. This is not you failing. This is you saying, they don't fit who I am now. And for others, it's more subtle. So you may feel yourself responding differently, like speaking more directly, or taking up a little more space, or not softening your truth to manage others' feels or feelings. And that can feel disorienting because the version of you that got through last year learned how to adapt, not assert. So if you're hesitating right now, it's not fear. Your system isn't overwhelmed, it's updating. What's moving now isn't just your schedule or your circumstances. This beautiful one is your self definition. So life is checking in and asking, can you move forward as who you are now, not who you had to be when everything felt uncertain? And that takes a moment to land. Now, this is exactly why I created Guided Journey, because there are moments in life where the old way of moving no longer works, but the new way hasn't fully landed yet either. Guided Journey is 6 months of walking that threshold together, you and me, at a pace your nervous system can trust. Not fixing, we're not pushing, we're stabilizing, integrating, and anchoring so what arrives can actually stay. Now, I only work with a few people at a time, and right now there are a couple of spaces available. If something in your body is responding as I speak, you'll find my email in the description. And what you'll do is just write Guided Journey in the subject line and tell me where you are and why this timing matters. Now, there's no pressure, just resonance. So, before we close, I want to help your body do one more thing. Catch up to the present moment. As you're listening to me, notice where you're still holding yourself back. Not because you should, but because you're used to waiting. And then I want you to just let that soften. Just the awareness of that, let it soften. Notice what's already supporting you right now. The steadiness underneath this moment. The fact that you're not reacting, you're responding. This week isn't asking you to leap, it's asking you to stand in motion, to let your body learn that movement doesn't equal danger anymore. You don't need to rush what's coming. You don't need to manage it ahead of time. You just need to be available when life responds as who you are now. Before we close, I want to help you place this week correctly inside the larger story we're walking together. This week isn't the moment everything changes. It's the moment you realize you're standing in a different body with a different sense of self as life starts responding again. Nothing here needed to be forced. Nothing needed to be figured out. Guess what? You just showed up and you noticed how you're moving now. And that matters more than you think. Because over the next few weeks, we're going to watch something unfold. Quietly at first, then more clearly. And we'll start naming where identity gets tested, where old definitions dissolve, and where you're being asked to live as who you actually are. Not all at once and not harshly, but honestly. So if this week felt subtle but important, I want you to trust that because it means you're early, you're not behind. And next week, we take the next step in the story together. But until next time, beautiful ones, remember, keep your frequency clear, your choices intentional, and your heart in the flow.